Welcome back to another episode. This is some videos on my journey through learning C++. I want to recap on some of the stuff that I've already done here. Um, First off, why am I learning C++? Well, I didn't start off actually learning C++. I started off learning HTML. Uh, First place I went to was freecodecamp.com because that was the first thing I could find when I started doing this. Started learning HTML through that. Until I got to a roadblock, someplace where I was supposed to write some code for HTML, but I didn't fully understand what I was supposed to write or how to write it or anything, so I kind of went back through it a few more times and stuff, and I still couldn't figure out how to write it. So at that point in time, I started looking for other sources to educate me on what I was missing. At that point in time, I had discovered uh, W3 Schools. Kind of give you a shot of what this looks like here. So W3 Schools, which has HTML in it. Now, I didn't know much about coding at all at the time. I thought that maybe HTML could help me write a game that I wanted to play, something with my own imagination, creativity to it, stuff, something that I would enjoy. Why would it be something I would enjoy? Well, because I've played quite a few games in my life. And anymore, a lot of the games, I don't know if it's because of my age or because of my experience, but I just don't enjoy a lot of the games that are out there. When I was younger, I started off with games from Nintendo because Nintendo came out about the same time I was born. Um, Started off with Tetris and other things. Moved on to newer stuff when I got older and stuff, and I was able to start working and stuff. I made enough money to be able to buy my own gaming consoles and stuff, and TVs and all that sort of things to be able to play these games on. I would still be working. I didn't follow a gaming path though. My path actually for work followed with automotive, something my dad did. Not the same area that he did. I was more mechanic, he was more body, but still. Um, and I got really good at automotive. Uh, and everybody kept telling me I was really good at automotive, and I probably was. I could do just about anything, fix any car, any problem or whatnot and stuff. I was still learning it quite a bit though, but things were starting to come together for me. Well, I had gotten to a point and stuff where I was pretty much maxed out in the amount of money I could make, and I was like, man, there's got to be another way to make more money than what I'm making now. Basically, try to find a way to make a better lifestyle for myself. So I switched from automotive to driving semi trucks and started driving semi trucks. Did that for quite a few years. What I did not like about driving semi trucks is the concept that when they say driving a semi truck is a lifestyle, they really mean it. You don't do anything else. You just drive semi trucks every day, all day long. Maybe every week or two, maybe 3, you might get some time off to come home, but that was about it. Well, I got out of that and stuff when my life at home started disappearing. And what I mean by that is I was living a life of driving a truck and missing out on everything that was going on at home. And then when people started dying on me, I decided I wasn't going to skip out on that anymore. And I was going to switch over and come back home and do something at home and stuff that I could still enjoy doing and still make a decent amount of money on. Well, I haven't been able to find that path and stuff because my life got flipped upside down because of the people that passed away in my life. So I decided to pick up a guitar and start learning to play guitar at the same time working and stuff, no longer driving a semi truck. This was not something I was going to continue doing, but it was something to fill a void until I figured out what I wanted to do. And I still haven't fully figured out what I wanted to do. I think that's something that takes a lifetime to figure out in some cases. Um, but I still enjoyed playing video games, but I didn't enjoy playing the games I used to play all the time. When I was in automotive before I became a truck driver, I switched over from console games like Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, to computer games. And that's mainly because of the PlayStation that I bought that cost me $600. I ended up burning it up in 1 month from playing it so much. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing this no more. There's no point in wasting $600 for 1 month just to be able to play and not be able to play it anymore. That was the PlayStation 2, by the way. Um, so then I got into computers. I bought a computer. I didn't build one, I bought one. Started playing some games on it. Found two games that I kind of enjoyed, RuneScape and World of Warcraft. Played those for quite a bit. In fact, when I was playing those games, the people that I loved that were in my life was playing those games with me, and we enjoyed it. In fact, I found a few friends doing that. Didn't live close by and stuff, but we managed to communicate through the game. And then Discord came out and stuff, and so we started using Discord to play the game, and it was getting to be really fun. Well, now that I'm no longer at that age in my life anymore, I have gotten back into playing video games, but I find myself getting quite bored. Give me just a second. Yeah, I find myself getting quite bored. Playing RuneScape and stuff, I got quite bored of that really quick. Reason being and stuff, RuneScape is kind of a free-to-play game and stuff, and it is great, but I didn't enjoy it. I played it for about a month and then got bored of it and put it down and went to something else. Tried going back to World of Warcraft, played that for about a month, got bored of it. Even with my friends, I was playing it and still got bored of it. So I started looking for other games to play while I'm working and doing whatever else. I found a game called King's Raid I played for a little bit and stuff, but then eventually got shut down. I played it for a while and stuff, and then didn't understand the concept of it anymore and stuff, and so I kind of got bored of that and left that. I played Rise of Kingdoms for a little bit. Played that one for quite a bit actually, because that one's a very competitive game, and I enjoyed that. What I didn't enjoy about it is how long you sit there and do kind of the same thing over and over on a daily basis, and how much time you can end up spending on the game and getting kind of nowhere with it. It's a good game. I do enjoy it when I play it, but I'd really prefer not to wait 3 months to start getting into the competitive aspects of it. The really competitive aspects of it. I mean, you can get kind of competitive after about a week and stuff with it, but it's not the same. Anyways, I found another game and stuff when Rise of Kingdoms was shut down. The next game I found was Honkai Star Rail, if I'm pronouncing that right. Um, it's a good game. I like the story part to it, but it's kind of drug on quite a bit. There's a lot of story to that. I like the hero-based game where you're collecting heroes, you build them up and everything like that, and that's not too bad. But it just did not grasp my attention as well as what playing World of Warcraft for the first time did when I first started playing it, because I literally spent a year or two playing that game. And it's mainly because I was able to play it with friends and people that were around me. The next best game I started playing that I really enjoyed, and I'm probably still going to continue playing it and everything, was Hearthstone. I played that a long time ago before I became a truck driver. Kind of went back to playing it, kind of got bored of playing it, and they kind of introduced something new in the game, the Battlegrounds area. And I enjoyed that. A friend of mine didn't. But then they added more to that to where you and a teammate play together on it. And that got to be really enjoyable, because not am I not only playing a competitive game against other people, but I am able to join forces with a friend to play against other people, which makes it really fun. Until just recently, something has changed in the game and stuff to where uh, if you decide to go with a certain style of card, if you don't go against somebody that can kind of destroy your cards will not get built up. And we kept running into this same issue. There's like maybe 8 or 10 different style of cards and stuff, but at the beginning of the game, you only get 5 of those styles of cards and stuff throughout the entire of the game. The rest of them and stuff are non-existent in that game. And the next game you play and stuff, it may change to where those styles may be there and vice versa. So out of 10 styles, you only get 5 to choose from per game. And it can be random as to which ones you get. But me and my friend and stuff, when we were playing this game, we would find that if we go against a dead team, our cards are not getting built up. Yes, we're winning that match, but most likely we're going to end up losing the game because we went against a dead team that didn't do any damage whatsoever to our cards, which the cards were based on taking damage in order to build up. There was 2 or 3 style cards that were like that, and it was like, okay, our cards are not building up playing against these dead teams, especially when we play against this dead team. If there is a total of 10 matches in the thing in a single game, well, those 10 matches, 5 of those are against a dead team. Well, the next 5 and stuff, you are really far behind because your cards did not build up from playing against that dead team. Not to mention the fact that some of the things that they have changed and stuff, you got to try to build a set out of something. And that part's not too bad, but playing against dead teams, and what I mean by dead teams, so somebody gets in and they start playing, you got 4 teams. One team completely quits at the beginning of the game before the match even starts or before the game even starts. They have no cards out there, so when you go against them, you automatically win because there's no cards to beat up. There are no cards to play against. So me and that person kind of got away from that game again because the way they changed it and stuff, playing against dead teams or teams that didn't have any cards out and quit playing right off the bat and stuff, that got to a point where, yeah, you're not going to win. Now, if you're a team and stuff, you keep playing against living teams where your cards are continuously getting beat up, or you're not playing with a set of cards and stuff that don't rely on that, then you're maybe fine. But there's other aspects to that and stuff because we always constantly felt like there was one team that was getting picked to have the lucky roll of everything. They would get the right trinkets, they would get the right cards, they had the right hero skill and all that sort of stuff. This is a free to play game. You can spend money in it and everything like that, but this was something for me and my friend to just enjoy. He would spend a little bit of money on the game. I didn't really spend a whole lot of money on the game at all. But spending money on the game did not make you better. You just got more options. It wasn't morely a free to a pay to win game. It was if you're paying to play the game or paying anything for the game whatsoever, it just gives you more options at the start. It doesn't give you better choice of cards. You just get more characters to choose from, which these characters all have skills, so forth and so on. So it's not a pay to win. It's not a free to win. It's more just a competitive, fun game to play. And when you spend money, you're just literally spending money on cosmetics, which is fine. I think the cosmetics look great, especially when a character can come out of the card and stuff like that and do something tremendous that looks amazing. Anyways, so I decided to get into learning about programming so I could build a game that I could enjoy that kind of had somewhat of the concept of all the games that I've enjoyed. Playing together with friends, not having to spend 3 months building up and stuff just to get into competitive aspects. Maybe a week of building up, but that's pretty much about it. I don't know how to do that though. So I started learning. Like I said, I started with HTML on freecodecamp.com. Went from that to uh, this website here, W3 Schools, found that there was a lot more information in this right here than what there was in freecodecamp.com. But freecodecamp.com or .org, sorry, not .com, uh, is a good way to get into a bunch of different languages, code languages, to find out what you might enjoy doing. If you would prefer to build websites and stuff, which is what HTML is designed for, is building websites with CSS doing the styling and JavaScript or Java being the interactive part to where you can click on things and watch a video or click on something and see a picture of it or whatnot, then you can do that. Um, where freecodecamp.org, they have the instructions there for you. They have some literature there for you. They have an editor, a text editor there for you and stuff. You write the code out and stuff. You submit it. It tells you whether you got it right or wrong, sort of thing. And it has been redone since the last time I did it, so I don't run into that roadblock anymore, which is great. But again, it doesn't have all the information you're going to need in order to learn a code language. In fact, this one does not have all the information you need either. In fact, I kind of think that this one's kind of mixed up because it kind of teaches you stuff that's in an out of order sorts. For example, you learn syntax up here where my mouse is, which is fine. You learn output next. I don't see exactly where statements are. They may be in the syntax part, which is fine. It gets down here to variables, and you start learning about variables and types and stuff like that. But there is so much to this particular language and stuff. It would be hard for them to get it all in there, and I can understand that completely. But it can kind of give you a deeper understanding of the languages than what freecodecamp.org can. Um, so if you've never done any code writing before, or building of anything before with a computer, I would suggest either this or free codecamp.org as a place to start, so you might be able to find what you would be interested in doing. There are so many different options. Like I said, you can build websites, you can build programs, you can do cybersecurity. I think they have cybersecurity on here somewhere. Yeah, probably in one of these languages. There's several languages at the top here, and I'm pretty sure there's probably more than just this. Um, it's hard to keep up with all the different things out there, and I fully understand that. Now, this may offer more and stuff through the academy or through the upgrade. I don't know. It's not something I'm going to pay for and try to find out. To me, doing the upgrade and seeing what the upgrade offers when you get it. In fact, we'll click on it and see here. So with the upgrade, you get uh, an option for Hero, which is $3 a month to track your progress. Not really interested in tracking my progress. I know how to track my progress without the help of this. Ad free, yeah, you get to remove the ads and stuff. Like for example, these ads over here, which is fine. Those don't bother me none. Code challenges. I think you already get code challenges, some code challenges in the free part. Assessment. So assessment's going to basically tell you how well you're doing so far. I don't need something to tell me how well I'm doing, honestly. And that's just my opinion. Um, my progress will tell me how well I'm doing. If I'm able to build what I'm wanting to build, that will tell me if I'm progressing and getting better at the code. If I'm not, then that means I need to do more work. But if you want a second opinion on that, then that would be probably an ideal spot. Um, your personal avatar, I'm not so interested in cosmetics right now. I'm more interested in learning. If I spent my time working on cosmetics, then I probably wouldn't get as far as what I'm getting now. Complete in leaderboard, I'm not sure what that is. Build a host website. So basically, you get a website where you can actually build something, and they're going to host it for you, I guess, maybe. Up to 10 static spaces. I don't know what that means at all. Maybe a definition of some of these things would be nice, especially for somebody that doesn't know anything about coding or is new to it. Reliable hosting with included monthly bandwidth. Again, something else I don't know about, so I'm not sure why I would know. So if I don't understand half these things, then no, I'm definitely not going to get this. Um, And yes, there is a free trial here, but I assume the free trial means you have to still put in a credit card number or something like that. And then you're going to get 30 days free to try it out, and you can cancel at any time. I think we're kind of doing a lot of uh, scams nowadays that people have to worry about. So I don't want to have to remember to cancel this if I don't like it. I've already got enough going on trying to learn this right here. And I mean, so this is pretty much a company is trying to make money, and I fully understand that. If you need something like this right here, great. This is not for me though, especially the $2.99 a month. It's not a bad price, but I'm not going to go with that. If we move up to the Plus series, which is what is most popular right here, everything in Hero, so you get all this stuff right here. Again, some of this stuff I don't understand and don't know what it is, so maybe an explanation of what it is would be helpful. Maybe a tutorial on what these include, if people decide to spend that much time looking into it. Anyway, so you can look into this and stuff. Like I said, the upgrades are not for me. Um, and even if this website didn't exist and stuff, I might be able to find somewhere else to go and get my education as far as this is concerned. But if you got your education for free right here and stuff, you might be able to acquire a job through them and stuff to help spice up their website. So if you were able to learn how to do C++ for free through them, but then again, people that obviously maybe even have money and stuff, they might be able to do some of this stuff and see things differently than what I do. Since I haven't tried it, I really can't say it's good or bad, and I'm not saying whether it's good or bad. Anyways, so I went from, like I said, freecodecamp.org to this website, which I mean, if you can't try it, I guess you wouldn't buy it. So yes, this is my way of trying it, and yes, not all the information is in here and stuff. Maybe that's just a way of getting you to do the upgrade of the academy. I don't know. Um, it's enticing and stuff, but I didn't see anything where it actually opened up and gave you more content and stuff for learning C++. I just seen a bunch of things I didn't understand, mostly dealing with HTML and CSS. So maybe that's what this is morely pertaining to, is they can teach you everything about HTML, CSS, and that's great. Um, Anything that helps you to learn more and stuff, I think, is beneficial. Um, the certifications and stuff, for me, that doesn't bother me, whether I have them or not. I've never gotten any certification. Even when I worked in automotive, I never got an ASD certification. Why did I never get it and stuff? Because I didn't need a piece of paper telling other people that I knew what to do. My reputation alone should be enough for that. I've seen people go and get education. In fact, I remember when I was still in my early 20s and stuff, I used to work at an automotive shop. A kid that had graduated Lincoln Tech came into the shop to start working and stuff. He was guaranteed a certain spot, but they wanted to find out what he knew first. Come to find out, he couldn't even do a basic oil change because they didn't teach him that in school. Uh, Glad he got his education, glad he got his certification, but the basics he didn't know. And in my opinion, uh, apparently, from what I understood at that point in time, the schooling he went to get his education, the money he spent on it mostly paid for his tools, which was way overly priced. He got a crap load of tools, which is what most of the money he spent on the education cost, and got very little education out of it. Or it was just book material, wasn't nothing hands-on. I don't know. That was a long time ago. Maybe they've changed their program since then. Anyways, moving on from here. Like I said, this is a great website to start off with. I don't know about the upgrades. I've never tried them. Take those for your own benefit if you want to do those. I mean, the upgrades and stuff will probably help support the website. So, by all means, if you want to help support the website, then go right on ahead. Uh, and I think supporting these sort of things would be great. If I had money and stuff, I'd probably be doing the same thing, helping to support. The upgrades probably wouldn't do anything for me, but I would help to support the website just by doing it. Probably still would go with the $2.99 one over any of the others, but still, it would be support. It'd be better than what I'm offering them now. So, uh, the freecodecamp.org and stuff, I think that they have donations and stuff. They collect donations to help support the website or support other things besides just that. This is the other one. I don't think this one actually asks for any kind of donations or anything like that. I think this is kind of set up for free, but I am not sure. I think they're looking for people that are really interested in learning it. Once they learn it, once they start proving their ability and stuff, maybe they can do something. I don't know. I do enjoy this website though, a lot. It is very much detailed. I love the fact of how detailed it is. Some people do actually just prefer, like me and stuff. I'm not looking to make these videos to make any money or anything like that. I'm morely looking to inspire people. It keeps me awake and stuff because it keeps me doing things while I'm able to still continue learning myself. So, is there any profit in this? No, not for me. Am I inspiring people? Maybe, maybe not. Doesn't matter to me. This is morally for me, not for anybody else. If it's benefiting other people in the process, great. But this is the next spot I went to. It took me a while to find this after I realized that W3 Schools didn't actually offer everything to learn C++ because there's a lot to learn and that would be a lot of work to do, and I fully understand that completely. This one offers a lot more. It doesn't offer everything. Um, it is very much more detailed and everything like that. If you want everything to deal with C++, and I mentioned this in other videos and stuff, I would strongly suggest this right here, but you're probably not going to understand any of this right here off the bat. This is not a beginner-based place to go. In fact, I'm still kind of beginner with C++ because I haven't learned all the basic concepts yet. But could I understand half of this? No, I don't. Going through this right here, if I was just to click on the language by itself, basic concepts. Okay, so comments. So now we're getting into comments. Comments serve as a short of encode documentation, and that makes sense and stuff, especially since I understand comments now. When inserted into a program, they are effectively ignored by the compiler. That's true. They are solely intended to be used as notes by humans that read source code. So, although the specific documentation is not part of the C++ standard, uh, several utilities exist that parse. And I may not be pronouncing half these words right. That's part of my dyslexia, sorry. Or understanding most of what this is saying, but I do understand comments. So comments, and it pretty much sounds to be about right. Pretty much you put in a comment and stuff for somebody else and stuff, or for you later on. You put the comment in there and stuff, and maybe a month later and stuff, you go back to that file or whatnot to continue working on it, and you kind of forgot what you were doing. Well, if you leave yourself comments and stuff, it kind of helps you remind you what you were doing, so you just jump right back into it. Here it's showing multi-line comments and single-line comments. I use single-line comments if you've watched any of my videos. I use those all the time. Especially when I'm describing what a line of code is doing. So this right here, yes, I pretty well understand this. It looks like it has kind of an example and stuff right here. It does say run this code, so it looks like it's a runnable code. So if you were to actually copy this into a text editor, it should work. I can't guarantee it because I've never tried it before myself. So, but yes, it has a lot of information out here. It even shows you what the output should be. It looks like it's got a definition right there, so forth, so on. So, um, will this teach you C++? Yes, as long as you understand it. If you don't understand it and you are beginning like what I was when I first started my journey, which is what these videos are about, again, I would start with either freecodecamp.org. Um, feel free to help support the website with donations if they offer a place for that. I don't think this one does. I don't think this one does either, but I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, go into that because that doesn't have a whole lot. The free here, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Uh, right there. Okay, this is where it is right here. HTML first. That's not all the information on it, but at least it gives you kind of an idea of how it works. CSS next. Again, probably not only information, but at least you get a feel for what it's like. So you at least you can figure out if you like it. Plus about this and stuff is you could probably get through, even being a beginner that's never done any coding, you probably get through an entire section of this in probably a weekend, if not faster. Experienced people and stuff can probably get through a bit quicker, but yeah, if you're new to it and stuff, then yes, you can probably get through this in a weekend. And it would tell you whether you, or not and stuff that if HTML and stuff is something you want to do or not, as well as CSS. I can tell you right now, HTML and CSS go together. So if you're going to do HTML, you're going to need to learn CSS to see what it's like. The downside about any of these websites, I think only one of them actually has a little bit of information on how to actually get started writing the code outside of the website you're actually using. Yes, they offer text editors in these. I'm saying this over again and stuff because I've said it in other videos before, but if you're just now joining me and stuff, you may not know this. If you do know this, great. If you don't know this, I'm kind of walking you through it. Hopefully I don't make this video too much longer than what it is currently. So, what is an editor? How do you write code? Okay, well, these websites have something in there for you to write them on. You can simply click on this right here. There's your editor, there's your output, there's your advertisements. The code is already in there, so I guess the objective and stuff would be to rewrite the code exactly the way it is. Why would you do that? Because practicing something, why does a person go and take a basketball and throw it through hoops several times a day, even though they're not really getting anything out of it? Actually, they are getting something out of it. They're getting a practice out of it, getting a position, the their body, the way their body's sitting and stuff, doing the same thing over and over. They know exactly how much power to put behind the ball to get it to go exactly where they want to. They know how to position their hands, the stance, all that sort of stuff. They're learning from their own stuff. Now, how that would be more helpful and stuff is if they video recorded themselves and seen what they're doing. They could watch for the mistakes that they're making to try to change bad habits. So, yes, you can simply erase this code out of here, just like this, and try to retype the code. See if you can remember how to retype the code and stuff to get the same output that they have here. If you forget, you can easily close this out and reopen it, and the code's right there again. So, but again, this is their editor. This is their output. Where is yours at? How do you do it on your own? How do you do it outside of Edge or Chrome or whatever you may be using? How? Well, this is one way right here. This is free software offered by Microsoft and stuff. There is a way you can um, spend money on it to get upgrades or support the software itself for later upgrades. There is a way you can do that, but there is also another option. Um, most operating systems, most computers, I don't know about phones or tablets, but most laptops or computers offer this right here, Notepad. Okay. Now there is something written in here and stuff, and that's because it hasn't been erased since the last time I saved it in here. So let me move this over to the side here. I'll go ahead and keep that up right there. So both of these, the one on the left is one editor. The one on the right is another editor. This is where the same kind of editor that they are using in here, this is an editor as well, but it's not theirs. This is theirs. This is yours. That's yours. So when you write the code in here and stuff, you are actually creating it yourself on your own system, not theirs. Now, how to get this to work and stuff after that from just basically writing it out. So they have an output for the code so that you can see the outcome of the code without the code itself. For example, this code right here that I've already built right here. If I want to see the outcome of this code right here, I simply can click Run Code, and there's the output terminal right there. The same thing that they're using on the website. There's the output. Here's the output. Does that work the same way on this? No, it does not. For HTML and CSS, you can get it to work over here. For C++, any other language, I do not know. It's not something I've looked into yet. What's the difference between these two? This one is very basic. It does come built in with the software, whatever computer you have and stuff. It is very basic, doesn't have hardly anything else to help you out. So when you start typing in this, let's say, I know you can't probably see this very well, but let's say you start typing the first thing for HTML, which would be the doc type. First off, as I'm typing, it's not making any suggestions, where this one will. If I start typing doc type into this right here, it'll make a suggestion and offer to finish it for me to where all I have to do is hit tab after hitting a few characters. This one will not. You're going to have to finish it up and remember every bit of it yourself. Why is that beneficial? Well, because it helps you to remember what these keywords are. I call them keywords. We'll get into keywords later and stuff. I've already gotten some of the keywords in there and stuff. In fact, here's a good example. We're going to close this down real quick. Keywords. There is a specific spot, and this just pertains to C++, but here's a specific spot. Keywords. These are keywords. Now, these keywords don't work for HTML because that's a completely different language, but for C++, these are keywords. So doc type is actually a type of keyword, but it's not. It more of is a descriptive thing. You want to learn what it actually is. Go to remember where the spot is. HTML right here. Introduction right here. Look for where it is talking about doc type. It gets into editors. I'm looking for it real quick. And yes, I do not edit my videos. If I make mistakes or whatnot, that's the best way to learn is by making those mistakes. There it is, doc type right there. Declaration. The doc type. Declaration represents the document type and helps browsers to display web pages correctly. There's a doc type. It is it most only appears once at the top of the page before the HTML. So will you see this when you actually go to put this on a website? No, you won't. It just tells the browser and stuff about what the code is. So it knows how to display the information. There's a lot more involved than just besides just that. Let me go back to where I was at over here now. Okay. Close this down. So yes, you're going to need a doc type on HTML documents and stuff. For C++, it's going to be different. Like I said, if you're using freecodecamp.org and stuff, that's kind of give you kind of a splash into or an idea of what the code is about and stuff, depending on which way you go. If you don't want to do HTML, which is web-based design, you could try other ones. Anyways, so yes, I got two different ones here. Like I said, this is Notepad. This comes with Windows. If you're using Mac or Linux and stuff, I don't know what they come with exactly. They may come with something. You'll have to probably find it or whatnot. If you're not sure, I'm pretty sure you can probably use AI. Come over to here, whatnot. Say, hey, what kind of editor is included? What? I got caps lock still going. What text edit is included with Windows, if you don't know. So built-in text editor in Windows, Notepad, WordPad. Those are two of them right there. Removed from Windows in 11. So actually, WordPad is no longer on this PC because I actually do have Windows 11 from 2024. But it does not mention that in this. Notepad included in all modern Windows versions. So Notepad is still something used, and it gives you kind of a description of it. What about Mac? What text editor is included with Mac? Okay, so it says it's actually TextEdit, Mac built-in editor. Also, always includes with Mac OS, can work on plain text or rich text. So there's another one, something you don't have to go and download. This one right here, you have to download. This one right here, you don't if you're working on Windows. Notepad is included on Windows, as I just said. This one right here is not. Now, what if you want to get this one right here? Let's see here. Let's get rid of both of these real quick. So, what are text, or what, sorry, what text, by the way, spelling this out or giving it precise words and stuff really helps. What text editors can I download? Tons. You've got tons of great text editors you can download. And a few of them are, let's see, beginner-friendly lightweight editors, Notepad++ for Windows only, Sublime Text, Atom is another one, programmer-focused editors, best for C++ works, which is Video Studio Code, VS Code. That's the one that I'm actually using right here, this VS Code, which is pretty much why I went with that. I got also Visual Studio's Community Editor, Windows only, Full ID Debugger, Compiler GUI Tools, CLion, which is JetBrains. So several options there. Mac specific options, BB Edit, TextMate, terminal based editors, Nino. I don't know about any of these right here, but yes. So the keyword was, as it said, there are tons. Take your pick. Look into them, research them, find out what you want. Obviously, you're going to have to first realize and stuff that if you have Windows, then you may not be able to get something that's specific for Mac or Linux. If you have Linux or Mac, you probably not going to be able to get Visual Studio. Again, this information is mostly for people that have never done any kind of code before. Then after that and stuff, you're probably going to have to do a little bit more research and stuff. Does this actually, for C++, I believe it does. Getting started right here, getting started with C++, install C++. So first thing you're going to want to do is install C++. If you need help with that, use AI. I did. Okay, so let's see, if you want to run C++ on your computer, you will need two things. Text editor, which we already discussed that one right there, and a compiler. Okay, you need to be specific in this wording though. So I need a compiler for C++ on a Windows operating, if I don't spell this stuff right, I'm not too worried about operating system. If you're using Windows 10 operating system, so you might want to be specific in that. 10, if you're using 11, whatever version you're using, you might want to be specific with that information right there. Not to mention, it may be also kind of helpful and stuff to mention other things that might help in detail. So we'll just start with this right here and see what it comes up with. I need a compiler for C++ on Windows 11 operating system. One other thing that I'm going to mention, I would definitely choose the editor first. Once you've chosen the editor, then you can add that detail into here. So I've got VS Code, so um, on Windows 11 operating system, using text editor, VS Code. Okay, so let's see what it comes with. On your Windows 11 using VS Code, you want C++ compiler. Perfect. You got three solid options, but the best one match for your workflow. And if AI knows a little bit about you and stuff, then it's probably gonna streamline you in your specific type. But option one is MSys, which I've mentioned this in other videos, plus Ming GW, and you may not understand what this means and stuff, and I wouldn't expect you to, especially if you're a beginner. I don't fully understand what this means yet. But I do know that to run C++, you're going to need a compiler. The compiler translates the code from what you write to machine language so the computer understands it, and then back so you have an output if you end up outputting anything. So, would I start with this? No, I wouldn't start with this. That's why I mentioned freecodecamp.org. Start with that right there. Get a splash of the different languages and stuff. See what you want to go from there. Why do this? Well, for me, it was the idea of building games, but I also have a wild imagination, so I want to see where my imagination can take me once I learn how to do this stuff. Can I build my own software? to do my own sort of things. Since I do play a little bit of guitar and stuff, can I build any software for music? Um, can I build new games? Can I build a program that would help me with making videos? And the answer to those questions and stuff is it's possible, but the limitations are pretty much based solely on yourself. How much are you willing to learn out of these languages? How much work are you willing to do to try to build what you're looking for? And then maybe even it's possible, I guess, you can make a profit off of it and stuff if you can get it towards a popular application or program or whatnot, because there are a lot of applications or programs already out there. But with as much data as you can put into any kind of program, I'm sure that we have not fully reached our full potential with any of these things. For example, I don't know how well you are familiar with cars. I can tell you right now and stuff, even with the fastest car that are out there, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Corvettes, etc. and stuff, they do not have their max potential put out. They have a lot of power to them, but there's still ways to get more power out of those vehicles. Even spending $150,000 on a Corvette or whatever, on a Ferrari or Lamborghini or whatever and stuff, it doesn't have its max potential in it. If you want to increase its max potential and stuff, you're going to have to do the work and the research to do that. So, and nobody has ever reached, because I mean, we're still racing cars and stuff, whether it's NASCAR, whether it's drag racing or whatnot and stuff, and new limits are always being reached. Well, the same thing goes with code. New things are always being discovered. So, has everything been learned? No, it hasn't. Um, and maybe I can discover something new when I get the basics of this down and start learning how to write C++ code. Or maybe I can develop a new website that would get more people's attention and stuff. Maybe my parents run a business and I can build a website for them and maintain it for them and help them get more customers, sort of thing. So, I mean, if you have a computer, it doesn't have to be the best computer in the world. Um, to learn any of these languages and stuff, there are some things that are going to be kind of specific. And I would definitely get into this right here to help you out and stuff. So let's say I have Windows 10. What is the best? Oops. What, actually, not the best. What are my options for a compiler? Because I'm not sure if there is a requirement. Let's go and look at that real quick before we get into this. I can close this down and come right back to that. It's not a problem. Let's look into VS Code real quick. I know I've already got it, but I mean, we can also look into other things too. VS Code Editor. Um, this one right here. I've pulled this up many times before. Frequently asked questions. Let's see. Features, docs, updates, blogs, extensions, frequently asked questions. User install, system installers. So we are actually trying to find out what the minimum requirements are. Obviously, and stuff right here, it does say Windows 10 or 11. So if you have 10 or 11, obviously that works. If you were running a Mac, here's an option for Mac. Um, so VS Code, where did we see that at? We seen Copilot say that VS Code was strictly for Windows, and we've just found out it's not. Okay, so no, it was Visual Studio's Community Editor, only for Windows, not VS Code. Sorry. Anyways, so do we click on this? Do we click on one of these others? Well, if you're using Windows 10 or 11, you're going to click on this one right here. I'm not going to click on it because I don't want it to download it again. Um, there are plenty of YouTube videos out there of people downloading VS Code to their computer um, and going from there. Extensions right here. I've shown this before. Um, learn. You want to learn about it right there. Build your skills with structured training courses for VS Code. Each course guides you step by step through a topic with hands-on exercises, and real world examples. So, agent foundation and customization. So these are courses. Learn the fundamentals of building with AI agents in VS Code from introducing AI. Yeah, so you got that option right there. So apparently, I've never actually clicked on one of these. Let's see what this is here. So there's a YouTube video right there of VS Code, somebody actually using it. There's some kind of literature here, how you can write code. So I mean, there's some information right there. So even after you download it, if you don't know how to use it and stuff, obviously there's some literature here and stuff to help you out with it. I got Python in that one right there and stuff because they're trying to check what version of Python that they have or installing Python one to the other, so forth and so on. So that's kind of your starting spot. This is again just a recap of how to go about writing code on your own computer and stuff, whether you're trying to build a website or whatnot. You can close this one out too and go back to this right here. This is already a 50-minute video and stuff. I think when we pick up from here, when we come back and stuff, which I'll be back shortly to make the next video, we're going to get back into operators and we're going to jump right back into the C++ my journey where I started. This was just more of a recap of my history and how I got to where I am right now. But once I come back and start making the next video and stuff, which will be here in a little bit, we're going to jump back into operators and keep going with C++. Maybe eventually when I get through C++ and stuff, we'll jump into another one. Maybe I'll go back into HTML and stuff and kind of do that one since that one's a simple one. But for now, that's pretty much it. If there's any comments or questions or anything like that, post them. And I will check them out as soon as I can. Until then, see you in the next video.